Okay. Everybody except for Spencer and Dave, look for your stop video and click the stop video so that you are off video for the next skit, and we'll let the two of them be the only ones on the screen.
I am terribly sorry. My husband's picture is on here.
That's perfectly understandable. We can live with that. I'm just not quite sure, and this is part of the tech thing, how we can make them all go away entirely, because the other people I've seen do this were able to get it down to just 2 pictures entirely. So this is still.
It's possible they weren't using Zoom. They may have been using that that other one that I was mentioning about.
Nonetheless, having only two moving images is actually going to make better use than having 7 moving images. So go ahead and begin the scene. Here is the scene that you guys are working with. You two are the last 2 astronauts on the International Space Station after a long stint waiting for the next crew to arrive.
Oh man, I cannot wait to get myself back on planet Earth again. How about you?
Oh my gosh, you are not kidding. I would kill for an Oreo cookie at this point. I swear to God.
An Oreo cookie? Come on.
I know. It's unbelievable. I mean, of all the things, but that's, my brain has just wrapped itself around. I swear to God, the minute we touch down on Earth, I'm going to grab a package of Oreo cookies and chow down.
I don't know. I think those freeze-dried ice cream sandwiches kind of taste like Oreos.
Oh, you're craving those, yeah.
Oh yeah, but let me tell you, I as soon as I get down on planet Earth, I'm gonna hop into my car, go riding straight down the highway, put the top down, crank up the music, and scream at the top of my lungs, "Take that out of your mouth! You don't know where that's been."
Nothing says happy homecoming like that. Oh man, yeah, you know what? I have to hand it to you because you know how to celebrate. My problem is that I'm going to go home, and you know I love him. You know I love my husband just so much, but you also know that he can be a little bit of a pain and everything. So, and the reason why he's a pain is because of just the dad jokes, the dad jokes, and that make no sense. So I know that when I finally clear quarantine and everything else, he's going to give me a big hug and everything. And then the first thing that man is going to say to me, I bet you money right now, bet you $10 that he is going to say, "Volleyball starts in 10 minutes. Don't be late."
Ah, yes, those good old times there. Yes.
Yeah, but I got to tell you, I miss him so much. I can't wait to hear it. He's just such a sweetie, and him and Oreo cookies. What can I say?
What about television? We don't get to watch television up here.
God, I still think that Game of Thrones is a radio show because I only hear about it. I've never seen any of it.
I know, and the spoilers are terrible. I mean, but yeah, I can't wait to binge watch things. Yeah, I mean, you go onto Netflix, go onto Hulu and YouTube, check all of those things out.
What are you thinking about watching? What are you going to do?
Well, there's this new television show that's coming out next season, and I think the tagline of the show is, "It ain't exactly the Energizer Bunny, but it'll do."
Oh my God! That's good. Who is that? You know what? That sounds like it's going to be one of the
What you talking about, Willis?
One of the Belisarius, from the 70s. That's what, that's what I think that one sounds like. Absolutely. For me, though, I mean, yes, television, absolutely. But you know what I've been missing? What? I cannot wait to hear is National Public Radio, NPR.
Really?
Oh my God, I have missed those guys. I mean, they have such incredible news coverage, and then they have just these bizarre shows. One of my favorites is I mean, I just can't wait to hear it. If you wait, all that happens is you get older, and you know what? It's a comedy show. I cannot wait. I cannot wait.
No. Oh no! That red light up there. Oh, you know what that means? It means our oxygen is leaking. We're both going to die if we don't get out of here soon. Oh, Spencer, my friend, this could be our last moments together. And I just want you to know before the cold vacuum of space comes in and takes my last breath away, I want you to know the truth about how I feel. You wouldn't be saying that if you weren't covered in whipped cream and chocolate sauce.
God, oh my God, what a wonderful thing to say to me. Oh my God. Wait, that red button is blinking?
Yes.
It's okay. It's okay. That means we left the windshield wipers on.
Oh.
Okay, here, wait.
That's pretty awkward then.
No. It's so good that you said that about me. You know what? That is going to just make me feel so wonderful for the rest of my life. But here, I'm going to look it up in the instruction manual to make sure that we're safe and that red button is what I think it is. Oh yeah, okay, here's what it says in the instruction manual. Once upon a time, you were full of crap.
Truer words have never been spoken.
You know, but that's what it says in the instruction manual, but that's what that red button.
Okay, yeah. Mission control, we're ready to re-enter.
You can re-enter. Yes, everybody can re-enter. So. All right. Well, now we know what to expect with regards to people minimizing their screens and not actually going away, but at least going away in a visual video sense. How about we do a press conference? And I'll throw one of you out of the room so that we can test how that works effectively. Yes, Dave's eyebrows are going up. So Dave will be the press conference person. And unlike the other versions where Becky or I have come up with an idea in advance, the rest of us will discuss this while he's out of the room and come up with something on the spur of the moment. So Dave, I'm going to say goodbye to you for just a moment. All right, we need a press conference topic. We need to identify who Dave is going to be, and we need to identify what the event is that he is giving a press conference about. Suggestions for people?
Oh, please make him Sean Spicer.
What?
Please
Sean
make him
Spicer?
Sean
Sean Spicer? Oh my goodness.
No, I was thinking that maybe Jacques Cousteau, who has inadvertently found the Titanic.
Well, that would work, except of course that the Titanic has already been found.
No, but I mean, we can, you know,
sort of a historical thing. Gotcha. Okay. Let's go with that. That's a broad enough topic and a broad enough person. I think that everybody in this group, all 6 of us, can pepper him with questions that are somewhat leading, but not absolutely leading, to ask him what this is all about. So I will bring him back to us. He is Jacques Cousteau, having inadvertently discovered the Titanic. Let me get that back up here. Breakout room. Ooh, I didn't actually use breakout room. I used waiting room. Hopefully he hasn't been listening this entire time.
He's a good actor. He could make us believe that he doesn't.
Dave?
Hi.
Were you able to hear any of that?
All I heard was a laugh just before I came back.
Okay, because I mistakenly did not use a breakout room. I just simply put you in the waiting room, which works actually effectively the same way. So
yes.
In a breakout room, just for everybody else who maybe hasn't used these before, a breakout room, if you put multiple people in, they're in their own separate room and they can talk amongst themselves. Whereas the waiting room, everybody's just sort of in this nebulous zone that they can't tell anything. All right, Dave, we have picked who you are and what. Oh my goodness, I'm sorry. You have a cat photobombing you there, Spencer. I hadn't realized that. So, Dave, we have identified who you are. We have identified what the event is that you are giving a press conference about, and we are prepared to ask you questions about same.
All righty then. Well, folks, I'm really glad you all came here today. We certainly have a lot of things to cover, and I know you all have many, many questions. So I'm just going to open that up to the floor. Yes. Jeff, yes.
Yeah, okay. Well, we all know this is a really deep subject, but how are you feeling about it right now?
There's a lot going on in my mind about this here, and I have a lot of conflicting emotions about it. So I'm kind of happy and a little bit sad at the same time. So it's kind of going all over the place. Chuck, yes, I see your hand up.
Can you give us your feelings right now of the historic importance of this event?
This is something that is so historical that it will be remembered through history.
Yes.
Spencer.
Monsieur, may I ask you, dear Monsieur, how surprised were you when you stumbled across this? Because I know that, that this was not what you were trying to achieve.
Madame, it was very, very surprising. I mean, there I was minding my own business, and then whoa, it was there. And it was like it took me quite aback, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
Janice, yes, you had a question.
Yes. How deep was it actually?
How deep was it? It was.
Yes.
It was so deep that I got metaphysical about it. I mean, that's really how deep it was. Scott, yes.
I'm just curious. Normally, we see you with a slightly different appearance. What happened to the hat?
Blew away. It was a big breeze and whoosh, gone. Chuck, yes.
Before you discovered this incredible thing, what were you looking for in the first place?
My keys. I got out of the car and I couldn't find them. And so I'm looking around, couldn't find my keys, and then whoa, this was there instead. So yeah.
Man, you lost your keys.
Yeah. Becky, yes.
Yes, this is Bertha Bottoms from the New York News. Yeah. Now, when you came upon this, we presume you were going about your normal activities. So related to this, did you find any new and interesting species while you were looking it over?
Yes, I did notice many new species, and we don't have names for them yet. That's how new they are. So I gave them temporary names like the what the heck's that, and Icky as the first two I came up with.
Icky, yeah, I can see the icky part.
Yeah, Jeff, yes, please.
This is a little off topic, sir, monsieur. But when you were a child, were you ever made fun of because you have you're named after a male support garment?
Oh, I wasn't I? Yes. I have to admit that yes, I did get razzed quite a bit, and they even tried to pull on my knee strap. So I don't really. It was really terrible. Yes. Scott, yes.
Considering the historic nature of what you've discovered, do you think at some point somebody will write a musical about it?
No. It was way too boring for anybody to write a musical about it. I think maybe a short story, a one-act play, a radio drama maybe, but I can't imagine a full-blown musical. Yeah, Janice.
I am wondering if it was right there out in the open or if it was covered with all kinds of flotsam and jetsam that you had to move out of the way.
I don't remember seeing any flotsam and jetsam, but I did see Ursula and King Triton. So yeah, just Spencer, God, please.
When you found this incredible, I mean this huge, figuratively and literally huge object, not to put a not to be too gross or anything, but I do know, Monsieur, that readers are going to want to know, were there still dead bodies in it?
Some of them were dead.
Uh,
Some of them were really dead. Some of them were like kind of clinging on for dear life. And it was, I wanted to try to revive one or two of them, but I'm not an expert in that. Chuck, yes, please.
Your memory seems to be a little bit rusty.
It could be, yes.
Did you see any shoes?
Any what?
Shoes?
Any shoes?
Shoes.
Are you saying shoes like what you find on your feet, shoes?
Yeah, I don't know of any other kind of shoes.
Well, I wasn't sure if I was missing. Did I see any shoes? Yes. And when I threw up so hard that I felt like I
threw up there.
I felt like I threw up my shoes. That's how bad it was. Scott?
I understand that they were the last people aboard. Did you see any trace of the orchestra?
I don't know if I saw the orchestra. There are some very cold floating instruments. But that was pretty much it. Yeah.
So Monsieur, when you did find this thing, did you find it by were you on your craft that we all know and love, and that I think a song has been written about it by I think a man named John Denver.
No, but I think a very exciting dance was named after it. Oh yes.
Excuse me, sir. Do you have any idea who you are and what event we're talking about?
What? I'm Jacques Cousteau, and I discovered the Titanic.
Yes.
Yes. Excellent.
That was a ride.
I was going to ask you next if you took any souvenirs like broken dishes and stuff.
Yeah, I was going to ask about the same thing. So,
okay. I was going to ask if the door was knocked down for people getting to you.
I have one more warm-up game that we'll use to cool down at the end of our session here. Has everybody played Objection?
No, actually, I haven't.
All right. I am so proud of myself for finding interesting games online. So, Objection is as follows. One person is the judge, and everybody else is people that are giving legal briefs in front of the judge. Essentially, this is normally done, obviously, in an in-person setting, and people can basically stand in a line, and the person that's going to speak steps forward to make their arguments before the judge. The judge will hear the argument, and I'll tell you how the argument is done in just a second, but the judge will hear the argument and say sustained or denied. Here's the situation. We come up with a broad topic of debate, essentially, something like Coke versus Pepsi, dogs versus cats. The first person that speaks up makes an argument in favor of whatever their pro statement is going to be. At some point, when that person reaches a pause, we don't want to have people running over each other's lines, but as that person reaches a pause in their argument, somebody else says, objection, and steps forward, essentially, and starts a different argument on the same topic. The thing is, the way I've seen this being done by other groups online is when you're making your follow-up statement, you might bring up something ancillary to the initial topic, and then somebody will have an objection to that ancillary topic. And so whatever you start with as a topic is a great launching point, but it ends up going off the rails and people start making objections to other things that people
Sounds like
say.
Monty Python.
It sounds vaguely like Monty Python.
Sounds like my dinner table.
In the version that's done live with actual audiences in front of you, basically it can end up with a lot of people talking over each other. The versions I've actually seen successfully done online now, the people who've been participating have waited for those pauses and then have made their full statement, and then the next person waits for a pause in that statement before they take it over. The judge is still there as a judge, essentially, basically to sort of stop it if it seems to be going completely off the rails, or to deny somebody's objection, allowing the person that had just been interrupted to continue with their statement if they didn't get far enough along. And essentially, every time I've seen this done online, they've ultimately agreed to the judge usually specifies, okay, we've got two more minutes for closing arguments, and it has to be rolled back to whatever the original topic was: Coke versus Peppy, cats versus dogs, etc. So does that make any sense to any of you?
Kinda.
Okay.
Sure.
I could easily send you clips from other groups that have done this online, but really I think it's more of a let's just jump in the deep end and see where this takes us. So what we need from anybody that wants to throw it out as our beginning point is some sort of something versus something argument that could have at least two
Toilet paper goes over rather than under. Toilet paper.
Vacations at the beach or the mountains.
I like the toilet paper one.
Let's go with the toilet paper one. And keep in mind that as you're making your separate argument, you can bring in other topics such as, well, I prefer it going over because when we went on our vacation to Barbados, that's the only way that they did it there, that kind of thing. So with that in mind, Spencer, you threw out the first suggestion, so I will let you, I will be the judge in this particular case because I'm the only one that's actually seen that role. Spencer, I will let you be the opening argument, please.
Your Honor, in the toilet paper under versus toilet paper over, I am arguing for toilet paper over. The reason why I am arguing for toilet paper over is that obviously, if you want to get to that toilet paper, it's easy to just use your fingers and do it like this and then tear it off. It is also much easier to write a secret message on the toilet paper and keep pulling as you're writing. And if you are left-handed, turn the other way. And so obviously, yes, over rather than under.
Objection. I think that this is a purely ridiculous concept here because it's almost like thinking about like the toilet seat up versus toilet seat down. It's a man versus woman thing. The women prefer to have it rolled down like that, where men, real men, when we're there, we want to sit and we want to pull, we want just the right amount to come out. If we're pulling it from the top, it's just like a cat going.
I object, Your Honor, because cats doing is adorable. You see it on YouTube everywhere. Every time I go on YouTube, they've got the cats, and then the next thing you know, you're watching somebody talk about how to put together a flashlight. Have you ever tried to put together a flashlight?
I object. No, those videos about how to put together a flashlight. Oh no. Those are almost like infomercials. What they try to do is they suck you in, and then if you watch the video, you really want to put together that new flashlight, but then you find out you have to buy pieces from them. It's a scam, I tell you. And this great nation should not put up with such scams at all.
I object. They have to be over, because when they're under, these things will come over and they will pull them down and they will take them all over your house. They cannot get to them when it's over.
I object. When the window is open and it is over, then the wind blows the toilet paper and it pulls it out, and there is tremendous waste. And waste is one thing we absolutely do not need. We have lost resources. They're being wasted everywhere. If the toilet paper is under, then you actually have to pull on it to make it come out. And it's not that hard, people. And it certainly is not a sexist thing.
Objection. Your Honor, I think when you're wasted and you're pulling on toilet paper and you're totally wasted and you're on the floor with your dog and your cat and you're rolling toilet paper, I think we need logical laws that support wasted people on the floor with their pets. I feel like this is a segment of society that's been completely neglected, and you can see from Scooby-Doo versus Fluffy the landmark case in 1978.
I object, Your Honor. That was not fluffy. That was scrappy. And nobody likes scrappy. Scrappy, I mean, you go to Philadelphia, you go to Pennsylvania, they've got scrapple. And nobody likes scrapple. Scrappy, scrapple. You're starting to see how things are coming together, and nobody likes those. I think it's a conspiracy that goes all the way to the top. And we know what happens when you get to the top.
I object. I am originally from Pennsylvania, and we all ate scrapple because we didn't know what the hell was in it.
I object. Your Honor, clearly this whole scrapple thing is a load of crap. And when crap happens, you want your toilet paper under instead of over so that it can go directly in for the wipe without rolling out onto the floor. I rest my case.
I want closing arguments. You each have 1 moment to share your closing argument.
My closing argument for over rather than under is, excuse me, but talking about manly men, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Have you ever seen the bathroom of a manly man? It's really appalling. No. You need cleanliness in that bathroom, and the only way to really maintain that cleanliness and therefore no disease is to have the toilet paper over.
Objection. I feel like you are all arguing too much and you're not respecting the wasted person on the floor at all. So I think we should take a hyperactive cat and pull all the toilet paper out, and then we can lie on the floor in a soft puddle of toilet paper, and then we won't have to argue anymore.
I object. This is a courtroom, not Congress. If you want a law about wasting people on the floor, you tell Congress to do their job and to pass a law.
Closing arguments.
Final closing arguments for the rest of you.
Closing argument.
Go.
I work at a theater, and everyone who has to clean the bathrooms, we have to draw straws. Who's going to clean the ladies' room? Short straw loses. Said Mike Peace.
Closing argument. Eating scrapple is one of the key reasons that makes you have to rush to the bathroom. And if the toilet paper is not over the top, well, I think there's something underhanded going on.
Well, yes, I just would like to say that the toilet paper should be under, but there should be no law about it, because I do not want police coming into my bathroom and telling me how I need to have my toilet paper, especially when I'm in there.
My closing argument is quite simple. When we're thinking about over versus under, you must consider everyone in your household. We all have differing opinions. We all have different ways we want to do things. But in the end, the only way everyone will get along is to ply yourself.
Thank you.
That is a tissue-thin argument.
I have a postscript.
Yes, Jack.
Scrapple comes out the same way it goes in.
That's my point. That was my point.
All right.
What's all this talk about Scrabble?
Never mind.
Because it's the biggest mystery on earth.
Do we want to do
Letters go. Letters
do
go.
we want to do one more, or shall we call it an evening?
I actually have to go, so.
All right. That being the case, I think we'll call it an evening and plan to meet back up here on Zoom at 7 Central, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific, tomorrow night.
And what does that Greenwich Mean Time?
Go away.
Greenwich is so mean.